and how we want them to love us and how we want to love them and all of the things. And we forget that everything that's being created in our life is us. It's nobody else. You know, yeah, we can be affected by certain things if we allow people to affect us in different ways. But the truth is, it's really about you and your journey and what you're going to make of your life and how you're going to create it and how much you're going to kind of learn to accept who you are.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. And to do that, you sort of have to acknowledge who you were. And
You have to.
And in a lot of respects, that the journey that you are on, you weren't necessarily in charge of the starting point on that. It wasn't by design. It just happened. And I mean, you would not only acknowledge that in the film and in the documentary, you start the album with it. The opening line is so personal.
Yeah.
About your mother and about the idea of what you invest your life into, whether or not it was the right use of your energy and your time, and how that won't be you. That's a powerful observation.
Yeah, I think, you know, the first line of the record of the whole entire album, and well, first of all, it's the title track, which, you know, sometimes rarely happens, that you actually, that title track really defines the whole project. And This Is Me Now, when we wrote that record on the first day that we were in the studio.
Was it day one?
Day one, we wrote Greatest Love Story Never Told and This Is Me Now.
You wrote the bookends on day one?
Yes. And I was like, that's it. We have the beginning. And I knew it. I said, This Is Me Now is going to start the record. Greatest Love Story Never Told is going to end the record.
Wow.
Now we just have to get the rest of it together.
But honestly, I've been doing this for so long. Do you know how often people are waiting for the center of something to show up? Often you have the bone, the organs and the flesh, but you haven't got the heart. You got the heart on day one.
Yeah. I think when I walked in there with that book, and I, you know, kind of presented it to everybody, which I shared this with you in the listening session. This book that was a gift that my husband gave me on our first Christmas back together. And it just had all these letters and correspondences that we had from the time we were together years ago, and then when we got back together. And there was a few emails in between that were very kind of like cordial, but he also kind of put our story in there in that book. And we had all these letters, and he's a writer, so he writes long, beautiful, poetic letters. And I brought it in there, and that kind of really set the tone for everybody to understand what the mission was. Like, we're going to put this feeling